Good evening, everybody. You're all very welcome to this evening's Get a Business Online webinar. And this evening, we're going to be talking about what successful social media looks like and how you can let your audience shape your campaign. So let's get started then. My name is Anne Halloran. My company's Intuition. I set it up in 1989, and since then I've been working largely in the management and leadership field, and I've worked across all company sizes and sectors. Now, back in 2009, I started building my own online business called Practical Management Skills, and it was a website that was designed to provide, practical advice really for new managers, and I've been selling a range of workbooks and other products through the website. I was fascinated by the whole process, and so I'm a trainer at heart, so since then I've been running training courses helping other people with their digital marketing and their e-commerce, and we set up Get a Business Online just last year, and these webinars are an offshoot of that. And I'm really delighted this evening to be inviting along Oisin Brown. He's our guest speaker. I've heard him speak a number of times, and I know that you're going to get loads of great tips all about social media for your business this evening. So good evening there, Oisin.
Good evening, Anne, and thank you for having me, and hello, everybody. My name is Oisin Brown. I'm the guy behind the social media at the Citybin Company. Today, I'm going to give you a brief background about the Citybin Company's social media story, how we view social media, how we use social media, why should you and your company be on social media, and also I'll talk about the importance of customer engagement on these different platforms, what to talk about, what to tweet and blog about, and most importantly, how it all works. So I'd like to start by sharing with you maybe a brief background about the company I work with. Established in Galway, a city on the west of Ireland in 1997, the Citybin Company is an award-winning utility company specialising in waste collection and home heating oil delivery. Today, the company services Galway City and Dublin City, and what makes us different is we have a strong focus on customer service. The company has won the Deloitte Best Managed Companies Award in 2009, 2010, 2011, and a Gold Standard Award in 2012. In 2012, just at the end of last year, the largest environmental solutions company across the Middle East and North Africa region, Averda, took a majority stake in the Citybin company. Earlier this year, the company has been ranked by a global satisfaction benchmark as one of the top companies in the world in terms of customer satisfaction. To explain a little bit of how this works, companies are marked between -100 and +100. The global average would be 10. We scored 70, putting us up with companies such as Apple, who would have average in the 70s, and Virgin in the 60s. So about myself, I've worked with the Citybin Company since 1998, starting out on the back of a bin lorry where I worked for 4 years, and then I went on to work as part of the sales team. I worked in the customer center, and now I work as part of the marketing team. This has left me with a deep understanding of the company's culture and the company's values and mission, and it complements my skills in applying and growing the Citybin Company brand online. Outside of this, I write a column for a local newspaper here in Galway City called Drop the Monkey Business. I blog for the Huffington Post, and I'm founder of a business motivation group. To have a basic understanding of social media marketing, you have to lose the words media and marketing. To be social, that's all for me. It's where it's at. It's what it's about. To be social, you have to interact with interesting and engaging content. And this picture is a great example of social media working 400 years ago when there was no internet. people didn't just like and follow each other, they had great conversations. So the key word for me is social. A good place to begin would be to tell you where we began. So with our strengths in marketing and branding and PR, the City Bin Company, we've always been good at communication with customers. So to take the leap over to social media wasn't hard. So a little under a year ago, a newly formed marketing team at the City Bin Company was given the task to build and develop a social media platform and go into the engaging world of online videos, posting pictures, tweeting, liking, following, blogging. Not an easy task when you think about what we do. We collect waste. We thought about who'd want to engage with a waste collection company. What does a waste company make videos about? What do we post online? Why would any of our customers want to connect with us? So the first thing we did was we learned. And the first thing I did was I read a book by David Merman Scott called The New Rules of Marketing and PR. Now David is a global expert in social media and PR. And what I did was I didn't just read the book. I applied what was in the book. And the first thing I did was I started a blog called The Flying Bin. And The Flying Bin for me acts like a newsletter. It holds all the social media platforms in place. It's the company newsroom. When you're working in social media, for me, when you're in that role, you have to think like a journalist. You're reporting for your brand, you're telling the brand story, recording the day-to-day stories, growing your brand awareness, and you're watching the analytics within each of these platforms. Once I had the blog set up, and I called it our newsroom, I then went ahead to build our social media channels. And that's our LinkedIn, our Twitter, our Facebook, and YouTube. And that's a great way to think of all these channels as channels, just as you would TV channels. And different TV channels often have different personalities. Some are for older communities, others are for business communities. And it's good to think about your channels in that way in terms of your customers. But it's not good just to set up these channels. You have to let people know you're there and create, I suppose, a guide. So the next thing we did was we embedded our social media channels onto our website. So our customers and potential customers knew we were there. And we didn't just embed them into our website, we told our customers, we're here, we're in this space, and we want to engage with you in this space. So we didn't just put little buttons on the website, as you can see. We made sure that we were visible, that our customer could see that we were in this space. Within the last year since starting in the world of social media, the City Bin Company's YouTube channel has grown to over 25,000 organic views, and our Facebook has over 5,000 organic likes, which would be mostly customer likes, and our blog has over 10,000 impressions on 30 blog posts. So how did we do this? For me, it's all about the trade, the tools of your trade. So every tradesman, such as a carpenter or a plumber, they have to have the right tools for the job, and social media is no different. First thing, a laptop. It sounds very basic, but if you're stuck to a desktop, that means you're not out looking for the stories to put into your newsroom, and you need to be mobile. Smartphone. All smartphones have apps, and they really make social media very convenient in terms of posting photographs or in responding to comments. HD camera is one of my favorite. Yes, all phones have cameras, but we use them not just for business, we use them for our personal use, and we kind of don't think to take them out when we should take them out. So to have a kind of a personal camera that's only for business, a dedicated camera that's only for business, is very important. You can get I use a Samsung W200, which is a HD camera. There's no cables, it's just a USB port, and 2 hours of filming high quality video, load up straight to YouTube or edit before you load up. Wi-Fi, yes, there is Wi-Fi everywhere, but sometimes when you look for that Wi-Fi and you need it, it won't be there. So it's no harm to have your Wi-Fi dongle. To give you an example, recently in Ireland we had our St. Patrick's Day parade. I made a little video on the spot of the parade, a little highlights video, and straight away I posted the video up to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook channel. Within 12 hours we had 700 hits on this video. Now if I had waited until I got Wi-Fi or got a Wi-Fi space, it could have been that evening or the next day. It'd have been too late. People want content when it's current and when it's relevant, so it's very important to be equipped with the right tools that you can deliver that content. The most important thing for me is the ability and the creativity to create ideas, because it's no good just putting up one post on your social media platform and hoping that'll do it. You have to continually reinvent, and people want new things. They don't want the same thing over and over and over. So brainstorming new ideas and really pushing them out is so important.
Okay, Oisin, that's a great start. Loads of tips there, you know, all about keeping everything fresh and current. And we just want to ask the audience now for a bit of feedback. Would you like to introduce that poll there?
I'd really like to know with the audience who here is using what social media platforms in relation to your businesses. Be it your Facebook, your personal, your Facebook and your Twitter, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, and who's actively using these platforms, just to get an idea where you are. And there's no wrong or right answer here, because to be honest, it's quite hard to be everywhere. We all try to spread ourselves too thin, and sometimes the best thing to do is pick one or two or three platforms that you know will relate to your customer base and get good at them.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems or challenges, I should say, that face small business owners in particular is how to spend their time on social media effectively, because you could spend days on it and not really get any good results that, you know, translate into customer care and business sales and so on.
Of course, and what's very important to realize is the social media, you're not there as such to sell, but you're there to engage with your customer, to build rapport, to build relationships. They'll never buy in these platforms as much as they'll buy in your website. So what you're doing is you're nourishing the relationship with the customer in order to bring them along to your shop, and hopefully that's where they'll buy. We don't want the customer to go from your website out to these places because they're leaving the shop, but if they do, you want it to make it really easy for them to come back in.
Okay, well, let's see what the results came back with.
Okay, and they're great results, and it just goes to show you can't be everywhere, you know. And I always say pick the most relevant to your customer base, even if it's only one, and get good at it, one at a time. I don't know, does anybody... I suppose it's just to say that for the City Bin Company, it was very much a question of to be or not to be. If you look at the picture on the screen, it's Shakespeare, and I really think if Shakespeare was around nowadays, he'd be really good at social media. He knew how to create content, and people really wanted to engage, and they're still engaging how many years later with his content, you know. For the City Bin Company, to be or not to be, it was to be. And the reasons behind this is to be everywhere our customer is. And if somebody a potential customer comes looking for us, or looking for you in your business, and you're not there, they may find your competitor. So to be in that space, to be active in that space, and it's very important. A lot of people set up these pages, but don't be active. So if your potential customer comes to your page and saying, well, you haven't answered your comments in 3 months or put up a post in 2 weeks, that may to them lead to a perception that that's how you will react offline as well as online. to be the fly on the wall. And what I mean by this, if you think before the internet, a lot of people would have given a lot of money to know exactly what their customers and potential customers were saying and talking and chatting and gossiping about their product outside the physical walls of their premises or shop. You have the tools now to create that place, and it empowers you to engage with these comments, and it empowers you to respond to the feedback, be it negative or positive. And again, I was talking about people going from to be available. Very important. Social media, it's 24/7. The tools make it convenient, and people seem to want answers right away on social media. They want a response right away, and you got to figure out a way. Well, how can you best do that within your working day? To be one click away, and we talked earlier about bringing people from your social media sites into your website, and the website is where people do make their purchase, and that's where the buying power is. The social media is really just to nourish the relationship. So with Facebook, you can have a button or an app that just brings your customer or potential customer a click away to your shop, and that's where you want them. Twitter, the same. You can have your website up there, your blogs. You know, don't forget, it's akin to the old newsletter. You're just sending them information on the social media, but later you do want them to maybe come in and do some business. And why be on social media? Well, to say you're open for business, to show them that you're there. Don't forget, with social media, you could be a very small company in a small town at the edge of a country, but you can sell globally. You can appear bigger than you actually are. You can build and create brand awareness, which is very important. And it's very important to have your brand consistent on each of the different platforms in terms of the banners and the profile photos, and make sure that you have a consistency through each of the different platforms, and that when people go from one to the other, they see that it's the same business. To control your search engine ranking, what I mean here is a lot of people don't realize that when you Google your own brand, you need to own the search results, and one way to do that is through social media. And Google and Bing rank very high, all these social media sites, once they're being consistently regenerated with new content. And to give you another example of how the search engine ranking can come into effect, LinkedIn is a very powerful social media site for B2B, business to business. So take, for instance, you go into a potential client to have a meeting to sell your product. Maybe you don't close the deal in there, but when you walk out, there's a high possibility that that person will not Google your company, not Google your product, but will Google your name. And more than likely, the first thing to come up will be your LinkedIn profile. So you have another opportunity to sell or to close the deal or to leave an impression, to engage with your customers. So if your customers are in this space, there's no point them being there and you being there. That's like two people being in a room and not having a conversation. You have to engage with them. And we'll be talking a little later about what you can do to create that engagement. Maybe, Anne, we can put it out to the floor and ask the audience some questions.
Okay, yes, and while you're typing them into the chat window there's just a couple of comments that have come in. Someone says they love that condensation to simply saying social. It's just all about being social. Now,
That's what it is, yeah.
Yes, there is one question in. How long before social media have you had a website, and was your site successful? You know, before you got involved in social media.
Yes, we've had a site since the first days of the companies, but the site, like social media, has always been evolving. So we had to always evolve our site to reflect the City Bin Company business and how people can can purchase our products and engage with us. But again, social media has really taken off in the last few years, so we had to make a decision. Do we want to be in this space? Can we be in this space? Is this space a good place for us to be? And the answer is yes. Mm. And you know, when you're in the waste collection industry, it's not a space that you think to be in. But you know what? It's not about where you are, it's about where your customers are.
Okay, another question. What budget do you have monthly for social media?
You don't need a budget for social media. Don't be spending money where you're not going to make money.
I suppose really it's just the time, isn't it? I mean, I suppose in terms of time,
it's about time, but you want to make sure as well that the engagement and the content is relevant to your customer, and that you know you want to make sure that you have the balance right in terms of the content you're feeding out. People don't want to be bombarded with spam either. They don't want to be bombarded with publicity. So again, we're talking about the word social.
Mm. Okay, another question. How did you get the social media content on your website apart from clicking on the social media button? So there, I think, if I understand that rightly, I think what they mean there is you can go into places like the Facebook developers page, and you can get code so that you can bring in a steady stream of Facebook comments and pictures and so on.
Yeah, and a lot of that is really, I don't know how to do that, and really, if you don't know how to do that, you ask the person who developed your website to do it. I mean, that's the answer.
Okay.
And I would always say to anyone working in social media, if you don't know how to do something, find out who does know how to do it, because there's no point going into mess around your website, and it's all about getting it right.
Okay, and one more then. Is the topic on Facebook focused on the business, or is it just general engagement?
It's both. As a lot of our customers are business to customer and business to business, we have two, for us, for the City Bin Company, we have two customers to cater. But everyone, you know, again, the way to look at this, it's been social. We're all people, and we all know what people like to talk about. And really think, if you're in a coffee shop, what would you talk about to someone?
I really like the competition you had on Facebook recently, Oisin, where you had a small little bin full of Easter eggs, and I think whoever guessed the right number of Easter eggs, they won the bin. So how many likes did you get from that again? It was very popular, wasn't it?
I think we have over 1,000 comments and yeah, a lot of likes. But again, you know, that's and it's something I'm going to talk about later. It's about creating the content that people can engage with and have a bit of fun. You know, it's not all about, people are used to, in this day and age, if they go home in their letterbox, they have a lot of junk mail. In their email, they have a lot of spam. So the last thing they want to do when they go to their news feed on their Facebook or their Twitter is get a lot of the more of the same. So there's a fine line you have to play. So yes, I mean, you can use the 80-20 rule. So you do 20% of plugging the business and putting your brand out there, but you need the fun stuff as well.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much for all those questions. So let's move on.
Okay, so this is a great example about engagement, and the last comment I made was to engage with your customers. And this is a tweet from a businessman in Ireland called Jeff Boyle. He's the CEO of 123, or he's the founder of 123.ie. And Jeff tweeted in, he's also a customer of the City Bin Company, and Jeff tweeted in, wondering why my bin wasn't emptied yesterday. So when that tweet came in, I got a notification, I checked our systems, we did actually collect Jeff's bin, and Jeff had posted something that was incorrect. So I contacted Jeff, and he tweeted back to say, I'm so sorry, you're absolutely right. The point here is, if we as a company were not on social media, or not on Twitter, Jeff would have still tweeted this tweet to his 1,200 followers, and they would all have an incorrect customer perception of our business. So another example is on our Facebook. We received a comment saying, I haven't received my bins yet. I joined on the 14th. When I checked the system after receiving this comment, we did actually deliver this person's bins out on the 15th. We checked our GPS system. We had a driver on the next street. And the driver went straight away to this person's house, and the bins were actually in the neighbour's garden. The neighbour had actually pulled in her bins. But the point is, this person responded and said, "Done, thanks for the speedy response." Again, if we weren't in this space, her comment would have maybe appeared on a forum or on a blog, and there would have been maybe an incorrect customer perception. So really, you got to think of all these spaces like you would the phone or the email. It's another tool for you to communicate. It's another tool for you or for your customer to communicate with you. So what to talk, tweet and blog about. And the first thing I'll say, if you don't know where to start with your frequently asked questions. So where's the pain points for your customer when they look at your product? Where do they have the difficulty? Because sometimes it's easier to explain that in person than it is in text, so maybe make a video about that. Look at testimonials. We all get testimonials as business, but what do we do with them? Do we put them in one page at the back of our website where no one ever sees them? Put these up on your social media site. And what we do this regularly, and what it does, it generates more testimonials. And if someone doesn't agree with the comment, they'll say, and well, then you can reply back to that comment and answer it. Another one, and the big one, is have fun stuff. Again, this is a picture we posted a few weeks ago of bins in Rome. It's all the trend, I think, in sunny countries, wrapped in wallpaper. Posted the picture. Again, the next day, looked at it, there was over 100 likes and comments, and people just like that fun, and they like engaging, and the people will talk amongst themselves under this. Tell your story. So this is a screenshot of a video we have on our YouTube, and it's our CEO telling the story of why he started the company. So believe it or not, your customers will engage with you more if they know why you're doing what you're doing. So let them know why you put your heart and soul into your business. Let them know why you want to service them. The promotions. Another thing I would say is Hallmark don't own all the holidays, so be it Christmas or Valentine's or St. Patrick's Day. This is a promotion we send out on Valentine's Day to our customers, and on that one day we got 800 organic likes back. And when I say organic, they came from our customers, because we send this out again just to our customers. Real-time social events, and this is getting back to the book that I read, and I recommend, if anyone hasn't read it, to pick it up, by David Merriman Scott, The New Rules of Marketing and PR. And David in the book talks about real-time social events. So the wording is important here. When there's an event, you're not just documenting or creating content about what you do or your product. You're creating content that your customer can relate to. So you need to go out. Yes, firstly, you create content about your product, services, but go outside that and maybe content about the industry. But now you get more relevant to your customer as people. You create content about the community and maybe about the city that you're in and what's going on in these places. And you can always put your branding at the end of these stories or these videos. So one thing we did in Galway City, where I'm based, we have a lot of festivals. One festival last year we had was the Galway Food Festival. Again, I went down there, made a little 1-minute video, put it up on our YouTube channel, had our brand behind it. It was retweeted and reposted on several Facebook pages, including the official page of the Galway Food Festival. The same for Galway Continental Christmas Market. Went down there, made a little video. Another example would be in 2012, the City Bin Company were the recycling partner at the Volvo Ocean Race. Now, to get the best of our involvement, I decided to do a video blog of the events, a daily video blog. We would film and edit on location, and we'd send the guys at the Volvo Ocean Race in Galway to their Facebook page the link to the video, and they would post it on their YouTube channel, and they were posted on their Facebook. The videos were happening in real time, so that meant in some cases the events weren't even finished, and we'd have a snapshot summary of the atmosphere posted online. Doing this allowed our YouTube to grow by 6,000 in 14 days during this festival, and our Facebook by 1,500. So again, the lesson that I learned in doing the real-time social events is people want current content. They want it now. They don't want it on Monday when you go into the office. If the event is on Saturday, you record it and post it. So how it all works. To sum it up, what I've learned in the last year in my role in social media marketing: think social, plan what you can, and really plan out, again, like I was saying, look at your business first. Look at, if you're looking for the story, look at your industry, look at the community, look at the people, look at the city and your environment. What stories are out there that you can share? Become a journalist for your brand. And a lot of the best things happen spontaneously, but you still have to plan. And to plan, you need to create a content calendar. And this is a great idea. So you can know what's coming up, know what's ahead. If you're a YouTube enthusiast like I am, create a playlist, plan a playlist. When you have these posts created, post and share to all your social media sites. Embed in your website or your blog. This is really important. Our most successful videos are the videos we have embedded in our websites. Invite your followers, your customers, and your potential clients. Now, if you have a business, you have customers, so let them know you're in that space. If you don't let them know what channels you have live, and if you don't let them know what's on them channels, they won't go there. So you need to really kind of push it out and let people know, well, I'm in this space, why don't you come and engage with me? But you have to be engaging in that space with them. Measure the results. Really important. All these social media sites have analytics and insights that allow you to measure. So when you're creating videos or creating a blog or creating content, think about how many people do I want to like this post, or how many people do I like to view this video? And that kind of shapes how you're going to make the video. Is it going to be snappy? Is it going to be quick? Is it going to be engaging? The content, is it going to be about my product or my community? Who'd want to see it? You can do all this, all these things, but if you don't do the next thing, I believe it's not going to work. And that's very simple. Repeat the process. Plan what you can, create the content calendar, post and share, embed in your website, invite followers, invite your customers, measure the results. Even if the result is 0, that's a great result. You can change these things in 24 hours. And again, repeat the process. So that's my thoughts, I think, for today on social media. Maybe we put it out to see if there are any questions, Anne.
Okay, great. And at this point too, if anyone would like to raise their hand, perhaps, and maybe ask a question, that would be nice too, if you'd like to do that. Can you give any guidelines while people are doing that, Oisin, on how much time, say in a day, can you put a time on a day that you should be spending on social media? Say if you're a small business owner and you haven't got a full-time social media manager.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I think if you're a small business especially, you don't want to be eating up your time. Again, this isn't where you're going to make a lot of money, but you kind of have to be there, your customers there, and you have to engage with them. So what I would say, if you're a small business, the first thing is don't try to be everywhere. See where your customers are. If your customers are business to business, for example, maybe the best thing for you to do is just be in LinkedIn, but be very well in LinkedIn and do it very well and build up your LinkedIn contacts and build up your LinkedIn profile, and maybe a blog, so LinkedIn and blogging. So, let people know through your blog that you are the expert in your area. So when people come to your blog, they know, well, this guy knows his stuff. The other guys don't blog about it. It's very important, maybe as well to put, it might be only 10 minutes aside every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You don't need to be at it every day. But really, when I was saying to have the right tools, we all have smartphones now with apps. And, if comments do come in that we need to answer, we can do them pretty conveniently without interrupting the day and pretty fast. So it's really about having the right systems and processes in place so you're not kind of drawn into this, because you can spend a lot of time on social media where nothing gets done. So yes, put a dedicated half an hour, whatever you can allocate to building the profiles that suit you.
Okay, and I suppose having a feed coming in on your smartphone, so that you know, because you may not always be at your desk at your computer.
Of course, and you know, if something comes up for Facebook, you have Pages. It's an app created by Facebook to manage your pages, and they'll send you a notification when there's a comment on your page. And LinkedIn, Twitter, they all have these.
Okay, this is a really good question I think that's come in. Can you grow your business solely by just using a website and social media?
Well, I think you'd be the one to answer this.
Well, my own personal feeling is that you really do have to mix the offline and the online, and go out there and make relationships, and make a few waves and do events or launch product launches, whatever it is.
You need both. Working at, like you say, with product launches offline, what you're doing is you're creating content to put online. So if you're doing events offline and you're growing your business offline, document these with photographs and video and post them. This is your content you're creating, and especially so you have a lot of different kind of content, and you really don't want to have too much content about the business. Maybe the 20/80 rule again applies here. But if you're out in your community promoting, yeah, of course. It's important to have both of them. The social media as well, it's very important to realize it changes. These are businesses, and Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, they all want to make money. And to do so, they're changing their game and their rules and the playing field very frequently. So it's important to have your website outside that, because it's possible that they will change so much that it becomes irrelevant to your business. Again, we have seen in the past social media sites such as Bebo and MyFace lose kind of traction, and although Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn are the keywords now, they're the buzz kind of sites now, will they be there in 5 years?
Okay, and also you mentioned that you have to measure the results. So is there any one particular thing that you did on social media, say in the last year, that really had a great impact, that's memorable for you?
Adding the fun. Absolutely, adding the fun, and video is a great way to do that, because when you get out and you have video, it might be a customer gives you a testimony, ask them would they like to put that on a video. Most people would be happy to do it. You post that on your site. One thing I have learned with social media is, if you decide, okay, we're going to do that and we're going to build a YouTube channel and we're going to make videos, don't just make one video, make a lot of videos. We've made 80 or 90 videos in the last year. And that's what people like, the consistency. And the same with the Facebook post. Don't just post one post. Don't just post a picture. And that's why the content calendar is a very creative exercise to do.
And I've also heard other people talk about maybe having themes, that you'd have a theme for a different day of the week, depending on your business.
Yeah, great idea. And to change them teams, because people on the social media, they can get very tired very quick of the same thing.
Okay.
So that maybe 3 or 4 times a year, change your tactics, so to speak.
Okay. And have you measured the impact on your business over the last year? I mean, are there any metrics there that you've been watching?
What we have been watching is the engagement with our customers on our social media. And again, if I bring you back to the examples that I gave you, is yes, on a daily basis we can see how many customers are using these social media sites to query products, that may use our products and want to get more information. And we can see on a daily basis what number of customers are coming in, and even if that's 0, you measure it, because then well, okay, it's not used like that, we need to use it a different way. But again, I believe if the people following you on your social medias are strong followers, in terms maybe their customers are potential customers, they will engage with you and they will use your social media sites just as they would pick up a phone. So it's just another option like the phone or the email. Will I email this company? Will I phone this company? No, I'll Facebook this company.
Okay, now we've had a hand raised here from Paul, so I'm going to unmute him here. Good evening, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much for being brave enough to talk to us. So what's your question this evening?
Well, first of all, it's a very inspiring conversation, and I do not particularly like social media for business, for certain businesses. And but he made some very good points, and I'm going to put wallpaper in my trash bins tonight.
Okay, well,
And
you don't live in the west of Ireland because it probably doesn't rain where you are as much as here.
well, no, I'm in the tropics. It rains, but anyways, what I want to make a point is that he's working in social media, and I found the clients that have started social media, they didn't know how to do it, so they hire somebody that for $200 or $1,000 they set up the social media, Facebook or a WordPress blog, but then they don't know how to update it, nor most small business people have the time to do anything. So I have some doubts of how efficient, and of course you understand that without content, and you made wonderful points, if you don't put content, nothing will happen. And that's
Absolutely.
what I saw people engaging 1 or 2 years with no results. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I know that, and that's a great point, because there's a lot of, I think one way to look at this, social media is new, and the young guys, the really young generation, the next generation coming up, they will have this embedded in their skin. This will be second nature. This will be like breathing. So there's a lot of businesses out there, and they're not sure what to do, and they think, oh, we have to be here because everyone else is here, and they go and they hire people. For me, I don't think that's a good idea to hire someone to set up your social media platforms. I think you can hire someone to teach you how to set it up, because at the end of the day, when these people leave, you're left with a system that you don't know how to operate, and you have to grow with it. And you know, you've never been on it before, so you don't lose anything by taking your time and doing it right. And that's a point I made for when you have a small business, and if you do want to dip your feet in this area, just pick one site and really take your time and study it and see where it can be applicable to you. And it's not always applicable to every business. There are businesses out there that maybe the answer is they don't need to be on these, or they can't be on these in these places. In that case, there is other options they can do in terms of maybe decide only to have the old-fashioned newsletter, but post that newsletter on their websites.
Okay.
Personal question. Oh, the last personal question. The waste management companies here, they're all multimillionaires. So am I talking to a multimillionaire?
Oh, certainly not, sir. Certainly not. I wish.
Thanks so much.
One day.
Maybe Anne will make you a multi-millionaire with her.
Well, that would be the topic of our next webinar, how to make money with waste.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks so much, Paul, for,
Thank you very much.
for your question. Okay, thank you. Now, if there's anyone else, we've still got a few minutes left if you'd like to raise your hand and we can talk to you. In the meantime, there's one very good question that's come in here. What would be your 5 best practice tips, Oisin?
Okay, yeah, that is a good question. I think the first tip I would give, if you're going to be in that space, don't have one leg in and one leg out. Do it well. In other words, if you're going to open a LinkedIn or a Twitter account, a lot of people tend to open these and they run away from them because they're not sure. But you know, there's a lot of information on the internet about how to operate them and how to use them, how to upload your profile photo. So my first tip would be absolutely, if you're going to be there 100%. You know, fill out your profiles, and this really helps with the search engine ranking as well, to be constantly updating your own content. The second thing is, don't try and be everywhere. Don't spread yourself too thin, especially as the last gentleman was saying, that, you know, if you're not sure what you're doing, take it one step at a time. Maybe only choose one, or choose one or two social media sites that are applicable to you. If you do choose something like Facebook, it is all about content, and that content, it is all about being social, so be social. So if you're going to be in that space 100%, be social. If people are on YouTube and they're creating videos for their business, keep the videos short, tag them with your branding at the end. Most PCs come with free software that you can edit as well. And, you know, another tip would be let your customers and potential customers know you're in this space. If you're going to be there, there's no point being there and nobody knowing that you're there. And finally, I would say, if people are engaging with you, engage with them immediately. Don't just leave comments sitting there for weeks. So in other words, I mean, we don't have our phone ringing in our office and we look at it and go, do you know what, I'll answer that next week. No, we answer it, we pick it up. So the same thing, you know, engage, create content. And again, you know, if it's not the place for you to be, don't have an account half open, close it. Don't be there.
Okay, there's some great points there, Oisin. Thanks very much. And maybe just to finish with a comment from one of the audience here before we go into the final few slides. We all know that social media is the best way today to build your brand. However, how much effort are you willing to give to reach your goals? So it's all about effort, really, isn't it? How much you're prepared to put into it.
Yeah, well, it's about effort. The effort is in the learning how it works and creating the content. But once you have a system in place where you're constantly creating content, it does get easier to create. So in other words, you're using that muscle consistently. Again, I write for a local paper. The hardest article I ever wrote was the first one. But now I do it on a weekly basis, so it gets faster. And it's the same online, I'd say.
Okay. So we'll just maybe come to the last couple of slides then.
So if I finish, I'll finish off just by saying, for me and to everybody listening, social media marketing does work. It's not for everyone, but really consider for yourself and your business, if your customers are in this space, are they talking about you, will they engage with you, or have you something to offer them, a waiting room, so to speak, where they can come and build rapport and build a relationship with you. It does take time, no doubt about it, but if you grab it by the horns and run with it, I feel it will work. And again, choose, don't try to be everywhere, choose one or two sites that appeal to you. The Citibank company, it was to be in social media. We've had a sensational first year in the social media world, and this year will be no different. We have exciting campaigns and projects coming up over the next 6 months, so please link up with us in the wonderful online world that is social media, and be social with us at the Citibank company, and we'll definitely unveil these plans throughout 2013. Thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you to Anne for having me. And I'd like, if there's anyone listening today, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, ie.linkedin.com/in/Oisin Brown. That's me. Please come and connect with me, and if you have any questions, send them to me, no problem. I'll be happy to help where I can, or maybe you guys can help me. And check out the Citibank company's social media sites. They're there on the slides. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Oisin. It was really interesting. And if you'd like to go back and maybe listen to it again, we will be putting up on our website, Get a Business Online. There's a section there called Free Webinars. So we're building up a series of very useful recordings there that I think you'll get a lot of good practical tips from. And if you subscribe to our website there, on the subscribe button, then you'll hear about the webinars that are coming down the tracks. We've got a very interesting one next month where we talk about how to balance traditional marketing with the new online marketing methods. And I'm delighted to have Oliver Walsh joining us. He's another Galway successful entrepreneur. So thanks so much to you all for taking the time out to listen this evening, and for all the lovely comments that are coming in on the chat window here. It was a real pleasure, and hope you'll join us again next month. Okay, good evening.